So we'll kick off with Zoox.com, who have just had approval in Cali, in California, to make their self-driving cars on the road. I'm going to play a quick clip of this and we'll get your reactions to it. For those listening on audio, now is a good time to turn on the video as well. So essentially, over the past couple of years, Zoox have been testing their self-driving cars on many roads, bumpy roads, rainy roads, snowy roads, cold, dirt, private, wet, you name it. They've been testing it, and they've been developing this machine learning, this AI, getting them better and better. And now finally, the state of California has granted them permission and the approval to go on the public roads. So in California, you can hail, I imagine via an app, a self-driving car. Built for riders, not for drivers. It looks like something from the future. You can pop inside this thing and you can, I would say drive, but no, you can be driven using AI to your destination. Obviously, massive implications this could have on millions of jobs, but obviously questions around that, around safety and so on and so forth. Let's just get your initial reactions to this. Lorenzo, when you see that clip, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was a car company, but actually, as you mentioned, it's an AI company, right? How many other technologies did they have to develop to make that possible? What I'm seeing here is they probably have environmental sensors, hazard detection, all that type of technology that can even be repurposed to something else. So they are really into those extra benefits. This seems like just the first application of what they have built in there.
Yeah.
So of course it's great. I'd love to try that out. But that is just an incremental improvement over our infrastructure.
Yes.
We have our road, we have our traffic lights, etc. They're doing that something a bit better. In reality, they are building something that it seems to me this is just one first application that to make it viable commercially.
Yeah.
I would be very keen to see what else is behind it, right? Are they building new type of tires, new type of AIs? How the data management of that fits in? So I think this is just one product for a new type of company that would be more AI based than anything else.
Yeah, new type of industry, because obviously Tesla have got their autopilot, Cruise have been doing it from a different angle, but it's great to see more and more players get into this space. Giuseppe, when you see that clip, what's your thoughts and reactions?
Okay, fun fact, 2-3 days ago someone didn't see me crossing on the zebra crossing. I don't know if he was using some mobile apps, but sometimes...
Did they hit you?
No, I'm here. But it was scary. Okay. Anyway, I'm very impressed, like as Lorenzo said, about the technology, what is behind. And I can understand also, I was living 10 years in Los Angeles, why they're doing this in California, because in rush hour, you don't want to be at the steer of your car. So if the car is like not speeding, like going 5 miles per hour in the traffic, better to let the car drive.
Yeah.
And then there will be time, where the cars, they can drive also on the snow or rain and so on, more difficult situations. But it can be a good start, Also in London, a self-driving car would be wonderful.
I would love these sort of things here. That would be incredible. And you're right, in especially in the valley, the traffic is insane. So hopefully this will help, solve that problem. Obviously, Elon's come at it from a different angle with the Boring Company. We did a story in the last episode about flying cars now becoming a thing. So, and I think on our episode, Lorenzo, we had was that the Uber episode with the flying Ubers?
We saw flying cars.
Yes, flying Uber helicopters and drones. So different people tackling that challenge of traffic from different points of view, but interesting to see this take on it as well. Nick, what's your perspective when you see that clip?
Yeah, I suppose my real concern is the social aspect.
Okay.
And that's what really struck me. I'll come on to the technical side afterwards.
Sure.
The first thing I thought was there's an awful lot of people out there who aren't going to have a job.
Yes.
And that worries me. What are people going to do? And we've seen it before. Certainly in this country, we've seen it before when places like the coal mines were closed down and what it did to communities. And people ended up working in factories, not so much factories, but somewhere like B&Q.
Sure, okay.
Was where they ended up. So I do worry because in this country, we do rely an awful lot on people to become cab drivers, taxi drivers,
Yeah.
Uber drivers, and also with something like Deliveroo, you can see it all the time.
Yeah.
So these are people that are going to be really affected. Which, if we think about it, they are at the lower level of the pay structure.
Of course.
So that is a concern for me. That's the first thing that struck me and sort of worries me, because there's going to be an awful lot of people now out of work. And what are you going to do with those people? The optimist in me, because I am a technical optimist, I want to put that out there first, straight away. The optimist in me says, well, you know what, we'll be able to do other things and we'll find other things for people to do. But it's a generational thing, and there'll be a certain generation of people that probably won't be able to find work, whereas there are others that will. So that's my first concern. Technically, I think it's fantastic. The one thing that did strike me, which I sort of had a wry grin to myself, was I can't imagine the amount of testing that took place.
Oh, of course. I mean, there had to be. I mean,
can you imagine?
It got approved, right? So I mean, there
absolutely.
Had to be. Yeah.
But I know from having to get large scale applications in place, the level of testing I've had to go through over the years. So the level of testing must have been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Technically, both the guys are right. It must be some very special tech they've got out there.
You raise an interesting point on the jobs, an obvious one that we need to discuss, right? I remember us having basically the same conversation, Lorenzo, a couple of weeks ago, but let's dissect it from the angle of self-driving cars. If this takes off, we will see millions of Uber drivers being replaced, truck drivers going out of, being made redundant, and obviously tech always takes over jobs and it creates new jobs as well, but this is going to have perhaps overnight an impact which, we haven't seen before in history on a global scale. So what are your takes on that side? Should we be limiting the innovation like Elon's been discussing with the pause on AI, or should we be trying to upskill and train them into new areas, or do we not know the answers? Giuseppe, what's your opinion on the job side of the impact this will have?
Okay, this is a very big question, because any job is good, but there are some jobs that honestly you don't want to do.
Sure.
Like I'm thinking about the delivery guys and so on, And of course, you need to understand that 100 years ago, when the cars, they were replacing the horses, it was the same problem, what
Yes.
they're going to do. I'm optimistic. I will think that people, they will find better ways to live. And also there is a bigger picture, because it's not just driving cars. AI will replace millions of jobs.
Yes.
If you use today, ChatGPT can do almost everything you need to do in the office.
Yeah.
And that, I think, can be seen as something good or not. Especially Lorenzo, that he works with the blockchain, where money can be created from nothing, like the fiat currencies.
Of course.
And so there will be a big review about the social aspect and, system and I don't know, UBI, universal basic income or something like that.
We might need to have that. I mean, maybe the UBI ethos is correct, and if we're all in a Wall-E type situation where we're all sitting down and robots are doing everything, then maybe we need free money to keep that going, or maybe we just need Bitcoin to replace the currency and make that happen.
We hope.
Yeah, maybe. What's your take, Lorenzo, on the job side of the equation?
I have a personal view on this, which is I don't think jobs are created by a technology, but mostly by an industry, by a commercially feasible type of industry and company.
Okay.
That's usually what hire the most amount of people, hire large number of workers, etc. So I'm not scared of technology, but we have to be a bit careful how we apply it. You can have technology which are not commercially viable, and they usually die out. So this is the first thing I would focus. So what are we going to build with this, right? In this case, we are looking at leaving people without a driving job. Now, it worries me as well, as Nick said. On the other side, maybe there's other side benefit. As Nick mentioned, the testing of that is probably incredible.
Yeah.
If you had to design this testing, it would be months or years. But how much are we really asking to current driver to get a driving license, right? It's far less than that type of testing. So maybe we'll start seeing, maybe we need less ER nurses because we have fewer incidents. Maybe we'll have No, maybe we need less control over who we give driving licenses to. Maybe we don't need instructors anymore. No, there's a whole
good
socioeconomical
point.
differences in that.
Didn't even think about that point. We don't even need driving instructors, will we, if you don't need a license to get into one of these things?
We will be very specialized or not as deregulated as it is now.
Yeah. Nick, you brought up the jobs point. So what's your opinion on that side of the coin?
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with Giuseppe that, something else comes along. So, when the car replaced the horse, something came along. I think I'd go back to my earlier point, is that there will be a lot of people left in the wastelands because they can't transition into other roles. Look, the four of us are really, really lucky because we all work in tech, and people that work in tech, and we've all had a very good and a beneficial education. The people that are doing those other jobs probably haven't been so lucky, and I think that's the concern. It's what you do and what you do to find things for those people, because we can't all be software developers. We know how difficult it is to be a software developer. We've all done it over the years, so we know it's really difficult. I kind of just worry because you just don't want people. One, you don't want a Wally situation. It did make me laugh when you said that, Alfie.
Yeah,
I thought it was very good,
Yeah.
very good analogy. We don't really want a Wally situation because they would just ended up as fat blobs.
Yes.
But at the same time, we've heard for years about people who are going to have more leisure time. Well, yeah, but that's great, but you've still got to have the money there. And look at the fuss we've had over the paying for our heating bills with our £67 a month that we've been getting, and the fuss that's caused.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what the answer is. The optimist in me says that we'll all find something else to do because something will happen. And I think that to a certain degree is true because I think we'll transition, but it'll be the people that are left behind. And there will be people that are left behind, and there'll be a generation of people towards their latter years in the working space that will suffer, and that will be the problem.
Yeah, we can't retrain a 60-year-old truck driver to code, can we? I mean, that's just a silly idea. But we'll have to see what happens. Let me get a sort of yes or no from each of you. Based on what you saw, would you feel safe getting into this? If you have kids, would you feel safe putting your kids on a self-driving car and letting them go? Sort of yes or no from each of you. Giuseppe, would you feel safe or not safe about this?
Yes, I would feel safe. Yeah.
Okay.
For myself, yes. For my family, not yet.
Okay, it's a little bit more testing.
Yes.
Okay. Nick?
I'd have to say yes, because if California have allowed it, having worked out in the States and realising what you've just got to go through in my area of business to get a licence, I can't imagine what they must have gone through to have something which is, for want of a better word, remote control or no control.
Yeah.
So I think yes would be the answer.
Yeah. I mean, if it's safer than human error, this could save millions of lives. I mean, it could be,
But Alfie, we all know there's no such thing as 100% bug-free software.
Of course. It could be hacked. It could be, there will be errors.
Absolutely could be hacked, or there is an if statement somewhere which just reiterates, and we've all seen it, we've all done it.
Yeah.
And there's always conditions that you've never tested.
Yeah. I mean, it's bound to happen. There are going to be situations where these crash and burn and blow up. But will that happen on a smaller scale than human error, than drunk driving, than people driving stoned and all of those things?
Absolutely.
Probably, yeah. I mean, tech will replace these jobs, but it'll probably increase safety and increase longevity as a result of that. Hey, thanks for watching this YouTube video. If you want to see more like this, please remember to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.